Ladies, 5 o'clock here, and my name is Erin, your hostess with the mostest, obviously, as well as the cocktail editor for bourbonbanter.com. Now, in my last episode, we did a little whiskey for breakfast, but I do realize that some of y'all may be a little bit shy about doing a whole raw egg. Trust me, there are no health concerns. It's completely fine. I do it all the time. And like I said, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast did it all the time. And now he's as strong as a barge. But for those of you who maybe want something a little bit lighter and brighter, as well as to capitalize off of the just really big energy that's coming behind the resurgence of highball culture, I wanted to give you all a little bit of a different take on how to use Spritz56 maple whiskey in a cocktail. Now, this particular cocktail is super easy, but it is still complex and refreshing, and obviously has a place at your brunch table as well as your happy hour high top. Now, the highball in itself is spirit plus bubbly, whatever. Normally it's going to be soda water. Today I'm going to be using Fever Tree ginger ale, and this is actually the refreshingly light. So it doesn't have a lot of sugar, it doesn't have a lot of calories, and it just provides a little bit of bubble with a tinge of ginger. Fever Tree is a great product. I really recommend it. So we are going to start this out with the eponymous highball glass. And we are going to add ice in it, and I'm going to fill it to almost the top because we want to make sure that there's enough room for us to be able to stir it, and we do not want the carbonated beverage to just like fizz up and explode. Now, I do call this cocktail a Spritz56, named after Spritz56. Again, 56 days of harvesting the maple water from the trees to make the maple syrup that goes in the whiskey. So we're going to start out with 1.5 ounces, 1.5 ounces, or a jigger measure of Spritz56 right in your highball. And highballs are built cocktails, so there's no need to grab a mixing glass, no need to grab a shaker. So 1.5 ounces of Spritz56 maple whiskey right into your mixing glass. Now we're going to add 1 ounce of other whiskey. I'm using Evan Williams 100 proof bottled and bond. You could use any 90 to 100 proof bourbon. It doesn't really matter if it is high rye, if it's wheated, if it's a standard mash bill. You could even use rye in here. Obviously you're going to have a little bit of a flavor difference depending, but the real purpose of the whiskey part in here is to increase the proof a little bit, to really push that whiskey flavor forward. So if you're more of a rye fan, go ahead and use a rye. If you like bourbon, use your favorite for cocktails. And again, this is my favorite, so that's why I'm using it. So we did 1.5 ounces of our Spritz56, 1 ounce of whiskey of choice. Again, Bourbon Banter, we gotta use the bourbon. Then we're going to use 3/4 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Magic of television, it's already squeezed. And this just adds a little bit of a brightness to it. Then I am going to fill to the top, and this is, so if you have something like a pint glass, for example, filling to the top is going to be a lot more of the bubbly than what I'm using here because I have a traditional highball glass. So I'm not going to tell you just fill to the top. You want to need about 2 to 3 ounces maximum. Otherwise, it's going to be far too diluted and you're not going to get good flavor. So 2 to 3 ounces of your ginger ale. You can use any ginger ale, but again, I really do like Fever Tree. Then to top it all off, we're going to use a little bit of Black Walnut Bitters. So the Black Walnut Bitters add a little bit of tannins, a little bit of nuttiness, and then again, the eponymous bitters. So I'm going to add 2 dashes, so that's going to be 6 shakes out of this bottle. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I am going to take my bar spoon, or you could just take your straw, and I'm going to give it a gentle stir, as well as just pulling the bottom up to the top because I don't want to crush the bubbles. I don't want to release all of the CO2. because I still want to enjoy them as part of my cocktail. And then I am going to garnish with a nice little lemon wheel, as well as a straw. And that, my friends, is a Spritz 56. Oh, yeah, this could be dangerous in the best way, but it's very light. You get that maple, the walnut, because it has some woodsiness, and again, those sort of tannic qualities, they work so well to complement the maple from the Sap 56. And then the bourbon comes in with its caramel vanilla notes, and it's a symphony in a glass. So cheers, here's to drinking better and drinking curious.